Now start adding water to the probe. Let me show you a single row first. First, get some pure water and a syringe. Start adding water to the probe. When the customer just received the goods, there was no water in the probe, so it needs to be filled with water before it can operate. All probes need to be filled with water. You don't need to add it unless the water hasn't been drained before shipping. The water should be parallel to the bottom of the bottle when you add it. Stop adding water only when it is full. The water must cover the peak. We fill it up slowly when it's almost full. Now it's almost there. The water is at the mold. Fill it up and wipe the top mold clean. And then we use this membrane that we distribute to customers. Glue on. Peel off the glue on the film first, and then peel off the film. Each probe has a corresponding membrane. Line the membrane with the hole. Just glue it on and press it down with your fingers. The step of adding water to the probe is complete. Now teach the client to look at the back of the instrument. There are 3 holes in the back of the instrument. This is the power jack for the power cord. The one next to it is the thermal head, which is the handle. Let's get the avionics on the thermoplastic joint. Then align the slot and plug it in. Just plug it in. If you want to take it off, just pull it off. Let's take a look at this joint with the other handle installed. Look for the groove when you plug it in. It's positioned in this groove. Then find joint pitch alignment after plugging directly. Just clamp it down. If you want to take it off, you need to twist it. We're gonna have to twist this rim inside and pull it out. You don't need to twist it when you insert it. After the alignment is directly inserted, it will automatically tighten. So much for the handle assembly. Let's take a look at the standard probe bonding instrument. This 12 thermoplastic heads. It has the depth of operation on it. There are 2 types, 1.3 cm and 0.8 cm. These 2 are probes that operate body parts, so it can only be used to operate the arms as well as the thighs, abdomen and buttocks. Customers can use 0.8 cm operation first in the clinic, because the depth is a little bit shallower. If the client is a little bit obese, it is optional to operate with a 1.3 cm probe. You can also use 0.8 cm and then use 1.3 to play. The probe should be selected according to the degree of obesity of the customer. And then over here is a single row of HIF probes. That's a little bit more depth. There are 1.5 mm, 3 mm, 4.5 mm. These 3 heads are used to operate the face. Then 8 mm probes above operate body parts. The 2 are operating parts of the body. These 3 operate on the cheeks. In addition to the probe, there are also some acrylic plates. 3 acrylic sheets of different depths, 1.3, 3 and 4.5. These 3 acrylic panels are tested against these 3 probes. The main test is whether the probe dot is normal and the output energy intensity. Therefore, customers can test the acrylic plate with the past before clinical practice. If it is normal, start clinical procedures. Now I'm going to show you how to attach the probe to the handle. The first is the thermoplastic head. First, take the probe to be operated and make sure it is filled with water. Align this in the middle with this. So align these two. And then align this with the slot. Insert it and flatten it. Make sure the seam is parallel. The handle is now installed. And then there are two buttons on the handle. One is the working button, the start button, and the pause button. So the operation can also be controlled on the handle. Then there is single row heave. Single row assembly is relatively simple. Let's say you want to operate this 3mm probe. We're gonna take this end of the probe right off the top and get stuck in. You can operate normally. These buttons above are useless. It's mainly these two buttons, and this is the prep button. This is the start button. Now let's start up and explain the interface of the instrument. Power on first. Then press this button. Once the progress bar is here, click here. There are two handles to choose from on this interface, and you can just click on which handle to operate. First, let's talk about the operation of this single row handle. Once inside, take a look at the parameters shown above. This is the depth of the probe currently plugged in. For example, the controller is now plugged into 3. So here also displays 3. This is the number of rounds left. A probe normally has more than 10,000. The extra is for testing. The total number of normal shipments is 10,000. The number of hits per RB is recorded here. The number of probes used each time the machine is turned on will be recorded here. Not since I turned it off. This will only keep for a while. This is the pause button. Start key. After we adjust the energy and parameters, click Start. Then get ready to work on the handle. This is energy. Normal doesn't have to go too high. Generally, it can be operated with 0.4 to 0.6 energy. Energy tends to operate from low to high. It can be adjusted according to the range that customers can afford. This is the dot interval. You can adjust it over here. Normally, the interval is rarely moved. So operate with this energy for the time being. Adjust all the parameters and click Start. Because the face probe has 3 different depths, so the cheek screen shows you where your cheeks are. Let me show you. Now attach the body probe to the handle, and the body part will be displayed on the machine. Now it's an 8mm body probe, so what's shown here is the abdominal area of the body. What area of the probe will be installed and the screen will change. This is backstage. Clients don't need to go in. Back. Next up is the thermoplastic probe. When you tap into this handle, it will show you some of the parameters of the probe. The above parameter is the style diagram. Now I'm choosing a square. So a square has an dot of 576. This is 300. Select different style diagram. Display the number of hair is not the same. The following is the energy. Click to adjust. The top one is also the number of hair. The following three are not adjustable. This shows the current depth of the probe. This is the remaining number. The probe has a lifetime of 520 runs normal shipments. This is extra for us to test. And then this is the total number of runs. Pause. Start up. This is the pattern choice, which has two kinds of model of fast and slow. Avoid the belly button when performing normal abdominal operations. This is where the belly button is, with a circle in the middle, is the belly button. So choose this style when working with the navel. You can choose this style above the navel. If the customer's abdomen is relatively large, you can choose the belly button style first and then choose the full style. And of interface explanation. This is the back button. Now show the client a single row dotting test. Adjust the power of the instrument first. Now demonstrate the dot. The 3 cm probe corresponds to the 3 cm acrylic plate. Put a little gel on the probe. Make sure you smear it, or you won't get a dot. Apply and press the acrylic sheet over the gel. Make sure there are no bubbles inside and then press the dot. This is the dot that's typed. Put the residual gel on top without manipulation. Clean with a paper towel or rag. Disinfect with 75% alcohol. Cleaning will not be demonstrated. Next, test the thermoplastic handle. We chose a 0.8 cm probe. When testing the 0.8 probe, it must be noted that the test case is also 0.8. Now set the power for the test. Let's square it with a comprehensive pattern drawing for the client to see. You need a little pure water in the case, not too much. Press the probe down. Next, you'll see how HIF works. Adjust the power to be operated at the spacing. The energy is operated from 0.4 to 0.6. Sensitive customers or first-time customers need to lower the energy to operate. After adjusting the parameters, plug in the 4.5 probe. Operating cheek section. After setting it up, tap ready or tap this button on the controller. Apply gel to the area you need to work on. Be sure to spread evenly, thickness over a coin. There are some forbidden areas. Such as orbital bone, nasal wing, yin-tam temple, and so on. Customers can read it in detail in the instructions. The gel is now applied. Contact the part to be operated with this side of the probe. Make sure you stagger the bones here in the jaw when you make contact. Hit the dot again to match Tira's technique. Finish this part. We're based on these two lines. Within these two lines is the range of energy output. Then move on to the next part. Sequentially operate. Finish this part and then move on to the next. Just below the orbital bone. I'm not going to go into detail here. Next, replace the 3 mm probe. Do it again on the cheeks. First, remove the probe and replace the upper 3 mm depth head. Also work on the cheeks. 3 mm can operate on the cheek or forehead. Similarly, insert the probe first to adjust the energy. Still use the lowest energy first. If the customer can withstand higher, then increase. It can be operated by gradually increasing the gear. Same manipulation, staggered jaw bones, combined with the lift. When finished, move to the next area. Now let's move on to the forehead. Just above the brow bone, just below the hairline. You also need to apply gel. If the customer has a headband, you can use it to avoid hair blocking the operating part. The skin on the forehead is relatively thin, so the probes that can be operated are only 1.5 and 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters is one of the deeper probes. For skin thin client does not recommend a 3 millimeters probe. This area of the probe is going to fit right in here. Keep it tight, don't let it go when you hit it. When you're done, pick it up and move it to the next section. If you remove it, it will hit the epidermis, and you may burn your skin. Not if it's too close to the hairline. Switch probes when you're done here. Next, work on the corner of the eye, so put on this 1.5 millimeter depth head. The next operation is the corner of the eye. The area beyond the orbital bone can be manipulated. The temple position is not operable. For example, if you want to play crow's feet, try to stagger your temples. You can hit an eyeball if the injured eye is in trouble. We'll start here and then we'll move on to the next. Try to pull outward instead of inward. So the number of shots is not a lot, after the finish can be. This is the end of the cheek operation. Now let's teach you how to operate the radar golden eagle. Let's get to know this probe. These probes are matched to a total of 5. Each probe has a different operating depth. There are 1.5, 3, 4.5, 8, 13, 5 different probes. 8 to 13 are for operating body parts. The first 3 operate the cheek area. Now we teach the customer to fill the probe with water and we get a probe and we rip the membrane. There's no water in there right now. Normally you'd need to fill it with water. Start flooding now. You can get a syringe. Just a little bit of water under this hole. When you get to this state, you put the membrane back on. Wipe the water off with a paper towel. Then tear off a piece of matching film and stick it on. Take the sellotape off and put it in place. Then press down with your fingers. All probes need to be filled with water during operation. All probe filled with water and then install it to handle it. The handle has a thimble here. The number of thimbles in each position is different. When installing, it corresponds to the position above the connector and then plug it on. Just make sure it's plugged in. Now let's talk about the operating interface of the instrument. The machine automatically identifies the depth of the probe. This keeps track of how many runs the probe is currently firing. This is the total number of probes. This is the remaining number of probes. Pause key. Start key. The following is the intensity regulation of energy. The strength is adjusted according to the customer's tolerance range. Advising clients to start from 3 joules. If the client can handle it, then gradually increase the energy. This is the frequency. The frequency is set according to the operator's manipulation. If you want to go faster, you can turn up the frequency appropriately. It's recommended to start with 4 if you start with frequency. Select these parameters and click Prepare. The positions now shown are some of the positions that the current head can operate. This is exit. Set the power and frequency and click Start. Probe this key is pressed to output a point. Long press the keys for continuous output dot. Release to stop dot. Now proceed to clinical operation. Apply gel evenly to the operating area before operation as well. Now the 4.5 depth head is chosen. When operating, first use the front of the probe close to the skin and stagger the forbidden area. With the loop lifting technique, you need to stop working when you pick up the probe. Press the output button after touching the skin. The whole face is about 800-1000 rounds. Mainly depends on the size of the client's cheeks. After 4.5, proceed to the 3.0 depth head again. So the clinical effect will be more obvious. Unplug 4.5 first and replace the probe on 3. Do the same for the cheeks. The forehead area is operated by pulling outward and pulling upward. Pull outward against the skin. Replace the depth head of 1.5 after operating 3 mm. Do the same thing on the cheeks. And then the whole cheek is done. After the operation of the probe, the residual gel must be wiped clean. Next, work on the body parts. After tightening, the same manipulation is done, lifting the internal organs from the outside. Click the output key. Lift up. And the same thing happens here. Replace probe 13 mm after operation 8 mm. Is also operating in this area. Customers who are not very fat are not recommended to use 13.0 gain. Do the same for this area. This is the end of the physical clinic. Next, operate the thermoplastic handle. Click the thermoplastic probe. Then plug in the probe to be operated. This is 0.8 cm. This is the operation of the Zinner customer. When you plug in the probe, it will show up here. Now operate the 0.8 cm probe. First set the power and click adjust. You can see that energy goes up to 20. So let's start with the lowest. Clinical advice is to start with 4th or 5th gear. Here is the style diagram. Let's start right here at the belly button. Customers can choose the slow mode. This mode will be more comfortable. Fast mode does are slightly more painful. We're operating in this area. So spread the gel evenly over this area. You can get a belly button so we don't have to. This area of the probe is attached to the center. It's being worked on right now. If you want to pause the clock, you can press this button to pause the instrument. Look at this display light on the handle of the instrument. This light is shown in blue during counting. So you can't take it away when it shows the blue light. This lamp will show a golden color after the number of strands has been counted. Pick up the handle when the light comes on. Next, operate another area. Select a 576 points style map for this area. Up and down depends on how big the client's abdomen is. If it is large, use 576 small dots and then use a small style map to hit it. Now the customer's abdomen is relatively small, so it can only be played in this area. To select a smaller style map, type this area. The following depends on the customer's operation part is not big, then choose 576 points to play. Now look at the operation of the instrument. The one we just chose was the belly button. Pause, select this. This is 576 points. Then click again, select and click ready, then proceed. Same operation technique. Close to the skin. Let's show this to our customers. First, put the probe against the site. Apply gel evenly to the operating area. Press the button to start work. Once you're done with this part, move on to the next part. It's affixed so you can pick up the probe and hit it here. Click ready. Operate this area. Again, press the button to start work. You can pick it up when you're done. The probe needs maintenance after operation. Customers can use paper towels or rags to clean the remaining gel. This step is performed after the operation is complete. All probe care is like this. If the gel stays on it and isn't cleaned up, it will form hard glue later on. After you've cleaned up all the probes, you can put the probes back in place. Turn off the instrument. This operation is complete.